Sir.
Good evening.
I'm a Sahara Insight reporter. My name is Mercy. This very
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. This very program is about redefine our identity here in Italy. Because our research shows that when you tell people back home that you live in Italy, especially as a woman, the first thing that goes to their mind is she is there for prostitution. But before we start, sir, you know your name, sir.
Good evening. I'm Mr. Eno James Ekim. I'm a Nigerian from Akwa Ibom State. Local government is Etina. So I live in Italy here.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Sir, may I know the reason you actually here in Italy, sir?
Yes, I'm in Italy here for green pasture. Although I was not in this very country for a long time, I was living in Ukraine before I traveled down here to settle down in Italy here.
Okay, so let's see, sir. And how long have you been here in Italy, sir?
I'm here in Italy for 18 years now.
That's a long time, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Is there any difficulties you've passed through here in Italy that are communicating with the indigenous or with a fellow immigrant like us, or racism? Any difficulty, any challenges so far?
Well, if I may say, you see, in this world, we are bound to face difficulties. Whether back in my own country, Nigeria, where I come from, there are difficulties or difficult times there. So even in Italy here, as long as it's under the earth, under heaven, so one is bound to meet hardship or challenges in life. So I've experienced some of those challenges too, which is just normal. It's a normal thing.
About racism, because we know too that there is this racism here. Have you been a victim of such?
Yeah. What I would like to say about racism is, you see, I want us to put our minds together and think broadly. Because even in the country where I come from, there are things like racism in my own country too. So even in Italy here, there are racism taking place, but they will not just do it to your face. So this is what I want us to understand. There is no place that you don't have racism. Thank you.
That's true. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
There is this very thing, just like I said from the onset, about female prostitution. Is it true that every female living here in Italy, they are all prostitutes, that that's the only thing they do? Then no dignity job, no one does a good job or work to earn a living?
Well, most of my experience in life is, you see, we need to think wide in issues like this. First and foremost, what I will talk about prostitution is, and there is nowhere in the world you don't have prostitution. Whether in my country, Nigeria, there are prostitutions. In Germany, there are prostitutions. Even in the Arab nations, there are prostitutions going on there. In Italy here, where I also stay, there are prostitution going on there. But I must tell you the fact, it is not everybody that take pleasure in that prostitution or who participates in that prostitution as their own
way of living,
like their own job. So there are some ladies who also work in companies or running their own business. So let us not make errors in counting every woman in Italy, or women, sorry, every woman in Italy that they are all prostitutes. I think that should come out of our mind.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
And just as you earlier said that the reason of leaving Nigeria was in search of a greener pasture, looking for a way to better our life. And you'll be here for how many years now, sir? You say you'll be here for about
18 years.
Actually, they said traveling is part of education.
Really?
So far, you've seen how this country is being governed and how they are bettering the life of their citizens. What advice would you have loved to give our own leaders back home? As what they need to put in place to enable the youth of that country stay back and be useful and be fruitful in order to live a good life there, instead of everybody running out of the country looking for a greener pasture outside their country.
Well, that issue is broad because it's not a day's job to start with. My consent with this question is, you see, in Italy where I live, they are well organized. Although I may not have all what I need immediately, but I do have them. For our government to do something, and they have, you see, corruption have to be wiped away first in the system. Because you see, where you don't have infrastructures, no investment, or if the investment is there, is for the rich people, not for the poor ones or the average people. So I strongly believe most people will still like to leave the country. So if the government really want to help the citizens, they have to create jobs opportunity. They have to help those that are in need. And how can the government know the needs of the citizens in Nigeria? You see, government should send their agents to the public place, public centers, to have contact with the average Nigerians, ask them questions, what are their needs, what do they lack, so the government will get a good information on how to reach out to the needs of the masses in the nation. Because you see, I was in Nigeria just last August, and I found out that most of the youths are suffering. You see, where there are no jobs opportunity, everybody is hustling to make a living. What kind of hustling? Some take some kind of risk that can take their life, and that is why most of the youths like passing through the Mediterranean Sea to Europe. Many died in that sea. It is the few ones that are saved. So, on my own issue is, you see, our government should send their agents to the public center to find out what is the people's problem and work on it. Not just talking, we will do, without doing anything. That is the advice I can give to Nigerian government.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
As you heard it, this is Sarah Insights Report. Have a nice day.